Celtics Post-Game Live is presented by your New England Ford dealers and Ford Trucks, America's best-selling trucks for 49 years.
All right, 30 points for VJ Edgecombe. You had 29 for Tyrese Maxey. They combined for 59 as the Philadelphia 76ers with an upset win here at TD Garden in Game 2 to even the series of one apiece, 111-97. Your final score, Philly winning this game by 14. Giles, Eddie, Scal with you. Scal, this just looked like a completely different game than what we saw on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, our point of attack defense, so when we say this term, we're going to say it a lot on this show, it's when the ball handler, the guy handling the ball and how well you guard him, how well you stay connected in pick and rolls, and that was the biggest weakness. That triggered offensive rebounds. They did a better job in the second half. Only 2 second chance points. In the first half, they had 17. The three-point shooting for the 76ers. Get broken down on the point of attack defense, you give up wide open threes. Philly did a great job of moving the basketball, and I felt like we were on our heels. After our first little burst, we were good. And I don't know why we were on our heels or why we settled for threes, but it looked like for the first time all season, it looked like last year, where we're settling for threes and not like playing those margin games.
Well, I thought that we were getting into our offense too late, so then we had to settle for those threes. We weren't pushing the ball in. When we talk about playing with pace. A lot of people think when they say play with pace, you just sprint the ball and taking a quick shot, 7 seconds or less, like the Phoenix Suns used to play. I played on that team. That's not what we're talking about with pace. We're talking about get the ball up the court. That way you have multiple opportunities to have different actions. You put them in different actions, and then you're able to put them on their heels and make them get in rotation. And I think what they did, what Philly did tonight was understood that we were in drop coverage pretty much all game. Later in that fourth quarter, we started moving up a little bit, right? But knowing that we're in drop coverage, just get a piece of that guard. And then now Maxey is able to get where he wants to go. Now Edgecombe is able to get where he wants to go. And now what does that do? Get in the teeth of your defense. And once they're in the teeth of your defense, your natural reaction is to sink in and protect the basket. And then they're spraying the ball out. And and to Philly's credit, they knocked down threes tonight at the end of the day. I mean, still, Tyrese Maxey took, 28 shots to have 29 points. You know, Edgecombe was unbelievable. And I thought that what he did at the end of the last game, I think he went and watched film, seen where he could get his points at, seen where he could get his money at, and it continued over the game, too. We were a step late defensively. We didn't have our defensive intensity up. I felt like we kind of, I hate to say it, but it felt like we took this game for granted.
He talked about the three-point shooting. Philly was 19 of 39 in this game, so they shot almost 50% from three. Celtics were 13 of 50 overall, so that's just 26%. Let's go through. Celtics were down by 13 kind of early in that third quarter, found a way to chip away, and actually you look at it midway through the fourth, they had a chance to take the lead in this game. This is the game highlight presented by TD Bank of the Boston Celtics, member FDIC, TD Bank NA. Jason Tatum coming up short on that three. That would have given the Celtics a 1-point lead. Instead, you had Tyrese Maxey.
He had him off the drop coverage. You know, here it is again. Look at the separation. And listen, he's tough. And he can pull up right behind the screen. But I don't know what you do with Tyrese Maxey with a full head of steam. It's really tough for those bigs to stay with him.
You saw Andre Drummond with the follow there with the tip in. Then VJ Edgecombe knocking down the three. It was an 11-0 run for Philadelphia. So the Celtics had a chance to take the lead just like that. Philly was back up by 13. Then Maxey gets the bucket and the foul, and
talking to the crowd, talking to you guys.
Gonna let them know on that one as well. As there's Tyrese Maxey again. He had 29 points, got it going certainly down the stretch there in Philadelphia with a 111-97
win. He is stunning on your bench. Like for him to do that, he's right in front of your bench. All right.
Well, that's how that one ended right there. And again, this was a game where Philadelphia had an early lead. Celtics go on that 16-0 run, and then Philly just climbed back in. They had their own 10-0 run in the first quarter, and then it kind of felt like the Celtics had trouble getting stops throughout the night.
Yeah, I mean, Eddie disagreed with this one earlier. I think that Philly made a conscious effort to run us off the three. It didn't feel like we had that many open shots. They fully contested. If you drive it, we'll just send guys over. If you spray it, we're going to run guys off. So I didn't think we did a good enough job of getting into paint. But, but we took 53s tonight. We started out the game, I think you said 4 of 9. And then from that point on, we were 9 of 41. That's not going to get it done. Like, we're not talking about beating Philly, aspirations to win a championship. This movie looks the same. I thought all year long we had good offensive balance. Transition, ran the ball, sprayed it, balanced across the board. All of a sudden the playoffs come, and now we're jacking up a bunch of threes. I'm not sure that that's the best game plan for this team to be successful.
We got to play defense, bottom line. You got a guy, their two main guys, 29 points. One has 30. Paul George has 19. Kelly Oubre has 12. And then Drummond has 10. I mean, we have to play defense. Everything was a step slow. We're in that drop coverage. They were taking advantage of it. They were knocking down shots. They was getting offensive rebounds. And, you know, I don't like to point fingers at the referees or anything like that, but I feel like they didn't give us a fair whistle tonight, to be honest with you. I felt like there were some calls that could have been called our way that didn't get called our way. I felt like Philly was getting the bulk of the calls.
They were more aggressive.
And that's exactly what happens. When you're when you're the aggressor, the more aggressive team, it tends to lean that way. The referees are going to ref the team that's more aggressive and allow you to get away with more. I just thought we were a half count late on every single thing, not only defensively, but even offensively. I thought our execution offensively sucked, and I thought defensively we just weren't where we needed to be at the times we needed to be there.
So you're talking about the pace in the half-court offense, Eddie,
yeah.
and them kind of getting late in clock. Maybe one of the reasons that they're missing as many threes as they did. They also took some early in the clock as well. Let's go through some of the missed shots we see here as far as the three-point shooting goes. Again, the Celtics just 13 of 50. I mean, they did have some good looks. I mean, that right there is a wide-open look. Is this just one of those nights, or did it also feel like they just were sort of chasing the three later on?
I'm not going to sit here and dissect every three and say that was good, that was bad, that was good, that was bad. But the idea is, I feel like we're not a one-dimensional team anymore. And I felt like we lost last year because we were a one-dimensional team. What we go against the Knicks, 25 of 100?
Yes,
well,
in those two games.
This is the same percentage as that. We're not supposed to be the team. We've evolved, and we've evolved because we have a different team, and all of a sudden we were three happy last year. We're not going to be successful being that three happy. Now, if they're all wide open, it's one thing. But I just felt like, are we not driving the ball for a reason? Peyton Pritchard and Derek White, those guys should take a lot more shots. Are we not getting those guys shots for a reason? Are we not moving the ball for a reason? When we do, it seems like we do a pretty good job. But if we settle for threes, you don't want to go through and just blow 2 games because you settle for 53s when you don't have it that day. The goal is to win the game that night.
I'm looking at those highlights, and those were good looks right there. We didn't knock them down, and we could talk till we blew in the face about how we didn't knock down shots and we took too many threes. The bottom line is we didn't defend. We did not defend. I felt like they were the harder team. They played harder than we did tonight. They were the more desperate team. They came out with a sense of urgency. Every possession mattered to them, and I feel like, and it happens at times, when you go and blow a team out, right, and then you play them again, you feel like, okay, you know what I mean? The cat's out the bag. We're better than them.
When you go on a 16-0 run and you think, all right, they're sweet, we got them.
And then at the end of the day, they're not. Yeah. They're in the playoffs for a reason. And this is a team that, no matter what you say, they got a hell of a guy in Tyrese Maxey. Edgecombe is a hell of a player. And to have Paul George as your number 3 guy, that's still something to deal with. And so, to me, it was more so of, I felt like when we cut it to 91 to 89,
yep.
And then at 3 at the top, I felt like that was a rush 3. It goes in or wherever that 3 was at.
Yeah, Jason.
It was at the top of the key, right? On the wing, on the left wing.
Yeah.
It was on the left wing. If that goes in, crowd goes crazy. We feel good. He misses it, the next thing you know, they go on a 6-0 run. They knock down 2 3-pointers. And pretty much that's when the game was over. But I feel like defensively, we just weren't locked in enough. We didn't have the effort that we needed to be showing like we did in game 1, to where their shots were tough. I felt like our shots were tough, and it was tough to get to our spots while they got everything they wanted.
So we'll take a look at some of that defense coming up in just a bit. But again, the final score here, 111-97 as Philadelphia They had just 91 points in game one. They add another 22 tonight as you're taking a look at the game recap presented by Zenni Optical, official eyewear of the Boston Celtics. Again, series tied 1-1, heading back to Philadelphia on Friday.